Jack Attack holding down the fort over there, doing their thing as only they know how. So super exciting to see. And a lot of crazy games apparently happen in that stream too. So really stoked to see what is going. Check the VODs out on that stream. Looks like we're loading up Runes of Ceres, game number 1 of Nurtio versus Bly. It is a best of 5. Keep that in mind, guys, as well. Here we go, entering in the map. Guys, to the left side of this map, we have the red Zerg player. It's Bly.
And on the bottom right side.
The right side of the map, we have the... I guess, did I say red? Who cares? It's the light blue Zerg player, Nurtio. Because, oh yeah, you can't hear. He's not here yet. Oh, I don't hear him. No. Okay, I'm gonna keep talking. I can't hear Falcon Paladin. Apparently, the admins can, so I don't know where he is. I cannot hear. We're gonna get the admins to figure that out in a second. Alright, Vulcan Paladin is here apparently, but he is not. I cannot get his audio here. I'm just gonna restart this call. Nope. Falcon, say something. We have a little bit of technical issues going on as this game is getting started. Sorry about that, guys. Alright, guys, we're just going to keep casting the game here, trying to sort out the audio issues at a little bit of a later time, it seems. It's weird. We were just working before. To make sure that audio is good to go.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep. I can hear you. Yeah, you can hear me.
That's so weird. All right. Solo casting it is. Go for it.
Oh, yeah. Alright, guys, just switching headphones, and that is a lot better. Now I could hear you, Falcon. Sorry about that.
Hey, no problem. I was just here screaming for help. Nobody was there to help me, and in the end, you came to my rescue. I love you so much.
Oh, hey, no problem. All right. Weird audio issues with the headphones.
Anyway, StarCraft is happening. Yeah, both players pretty much having identical builds right now. Getting Baneling Nest, getting Workers, getting Queens, getting Speed for their Lings as well. They both have 2 hatcheries. Looking fantastic. In that realm, we're going to see some very, very intense Speedling on Speedling action. Wasn't Banelings thrown in just for good measure. Now, again, this can outright kill your Zerg opponent, but sometimes if they can hold it, this can actually move into more of a Roach Ravager type composition. Mutalisks are very good as well in this matchup, and Lurkers have their point as well.
Yeah, we've seen both these players initiate very similar builds. I mean, I don't know if it's because they train together a lot or it's just the meta that European Zergs tend to favor. But as previously mentioned, Bly has defeated Nurtio in this matchup already once today in a best of 5. But that doesn't mean anything. There's more stakes to be had in this series, and a lot more stakes to be had, I guess, with the larger prize pool, and just, there's a little bit of honor going on in a global finals such as this.
Yeah, Scouting Ling actually makes it on in there for Nurtio into Bly's base. Gets some pretty good information there as well. Banelings morphing on the front door for Nurtio at Bly's front door. We'll have to see if they are going to be aggressive or perhaps just kind of hang out here for a while, which would be a weird choice, but you never know with these guys. And a third hatchery has been planted by Nurtio, trying to one-up his opponent in the macro style and hopefully hold any aggression that comes from the other side of the map.
Yeah, Bly right now is playing a pretty defensive build with the Queens on the ramp, as well as some defensive Banelings here, just to try to eliminate any potential aggressive play that Nurtio so chooses to do. But that is not what's happening right at this moment. As you mentioned, he's taking that third base, which is well on its way ahead of anything that Bly could be doing. So Bly has to put on some sort of aggression himself. Actually, we have some nice hidden Lings turning into Banelings inside the base of Nurtio. We'll see if Nurtio will be able to react in a timely fashion to what is sure to be a surprise to him. Actually, there's a queen moving there. Might be able to. It does indeed spot these banelings. These banelings are gonna roll right into the mineral line. Nice splits by Nurchio. Will they get a lot? Oh,
splits.
Yeah, very excellent splits. 4 workers do go down, but still could have been a whole lot worse.
Absolutely. So again, the 4 workers do die. +1 Carapace is on the way for Bly. That can be useful. Again, as a +1 Carapace lings can take a baneling hit without dying, which again, they're very low on health. They're not super useful, but they're not completely dead. So that can actually turn a battle in one of these baneling attacks towards the player that does have that upgrade if the other guy doesn't have it themselves. So again, just more aggression here, continuing to stream across the map from Inertio. Banelings are waddling their way on in. They don't have the creep bonus to speed. Baneling hits. I think that was 2 versus 4. Inertio, I think, won that particular battle. The lings are going to force a cancel on this base. I don't think the queens are enough to get on in there, and it's going to be very close. No, the cancel does come. The baneling wants to get a hit on all those lings, but no, the queens focus it down immediately, and replanting the base there is Bly.
Again, well played by Nurchio, forcing the cancel on that base. He himself has a 3rd base, not quite, just starting to now mine from his 3rd, but canceling that 3rd of Bly is huge at this stage in the game. Bly tried to play it defensive, but again, he played defensive, yet he couldn't defend. That's showing this particular build that Nurchio is very effective, and he's morphing in more banelings towards Bly's side of the map as more lings stream towards that end as well. Bly does have an Overlord, though. It does see it all.
Both players getting Nidus Worms at pretty much the exact same time. That's surprising.
That is weird.
This could turn into some kind of a weird ZVZ base race, which I guess could happen, but not that popular. Some lings do run on in to the 3rd base of Inertio. They're trying to do what they can, but they get cleaned up fairly easy by these roaches and these queens. And yet the Nidus Worm indicators on the minimap pop up exactly at the same time. One inside the main base of Inertio, also dropping in some lings as why not. Inertio's Nidus Worm, on the other hand, is popping up at the 4th base potential here for Bly. So one being a little bit more aggressive. A lot of roaches and queens here, though. I feel like Bly's in a lot of trouble, and he knows it.
That's huge.
Nidus Worm is getting focused down, and it does, stranding these roaches. A few baneling hits on these roaches as well. Not quite enough to do it. And Inertio shut that down hard.
That was an ambitious plan by Bly, designed to commit to that Nidus Worm, but eventually getting his army stuck. Well, I guess a portion of his army stuck into the main base. But nice concave and preparation by Nurchio, just letting the army come out of it and capitalizing on the lack of army supply that Bly has. Bly is still behind about 20 supply right now. Army supply nearly double, though, for Nurchio.
Absolutely, looking very good for Acer's Nurchio today. Having one up on his opponent, the Nidus Worm is streaming out units for Inertio, heading towards Bly's 3rd base. Here come a lot of roaches and a lot of queens, having a pretty good concave here with transfuse ability, making Inertio's army that much more effective at the same time. The queen, no upgrades whatsoever on Inertio's units. The roaches for Bly do have +1 armor, making them a little bit more tanky, but again, the extra DPS from the queens, getting focused down, however, by the roaches from Bly. Transfuses, if they were available, would be very nice here at the same time. And I think they may be... There is enough energy on those queens to transfuse. There they are, actually popping out now. And again, Nurchio just continuing to steamroll with the roaches. The queens not helping on the attack that much. I'm not sure what they're going after here. Overlords they're trying to kill, it appears. But no, Nurchio forces Bly outside of his own natural base. He has free reign on everything here. A few roaches for Bly trying to return the favor, but not going very well at all. And Nurchio looking great.
Yeah, Bly getting picked apart here, using his Nidus Worm to send whatever he has to the other side of the map, trying to get some damage done to the 3rd base of Nurchio. But Nurchio is inside the main base of Bly, picking up at that lone Nidus Worm, and gonna actually strand Bly on the other side of the map with his workers. Not entirely sure what Bly plans on doing with his workers on the other side of the map, but he's trying to make something and anything happen. But either way, GG's called. Nurchio takes game number 1 of this best of 5 in the semifinals of the Gauntlet Legacy of the Void Series Global Finals. I'm Bobby Austin, with me is Falcon Paladin. We are back on track, despite a little bit of audio technical difficulties on my end. It's all good. Apparently there's a mute button on these headphones. That's terrible. But hey, they're not my headphones. Who knew? Who knew? What can I? This makes sense. That's all good. But anyway, guys, excellent game. Very straightforward in that case. But again, we had an economic build by Nurchio. Then he translated it into an aggressive push that still paid off to a defensive Bly. That is unique. That is not on paper. That's not supposed to happen, but it did, and it worked.
It did. Can't argue with the results.
Yep, absolutely. All right, guys. Again, this is a best of 5. Everybody left in this event is in the money. We're gonna have one game after the other, after the other, after the other. We're gonna be non-stop until we finish this event. Games are gonna be all lined up by the wonderful ESL admins. We're really stoked for that, Falcon. Just non-stop StarCraft. My brain is a buzz. After that Neeb Bjorn series, I just want to run around and like yell at people in the street and saying, "Watch StarCraft!" Like that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. Like that's how excited I am. That was an awesome series, one of the best I've seen.
Absolutely, for sure. And ZVZ, I know people really tend to hate that matchup, but come on. It's Legacy of the Void.
Still.
Let's give it a new shot, right?
Yeah,
if
exactly.
you hated it in Wings of Liberty, it's been years since then. Come back in, give it a try.
I mean, hey, bro,
different about it.
We saw a Nidus Worm in this game. What?
Yeah,
I mean, that alone
two
is
Nidus
new.
Worms.
Two, I should say. One for each guy. That is amazing. That's something you never see in Heart of the Swarm, Rings of Liberty. I mean, in the rare occasion. But nonetheless, that's super exciting. I do like ZVZ in Heart of the Swarm, though, so I'm not one of the haters in that respect. But in Legacy of the Void, we're seeing, there's these shorter games that happen with heavy aggression, but I've seen quite a number of macro games in ZVZ, leading to Broodlords and Ultralisks, Infestors, Lurkers, the whole slew that you would see in a PVZ or a TVZ, but also in a ZVZ, and that's, I think, shows the breadth and like the depth rather in this in the new units, in the new abilities, in the new economy in Legacy of the Void that was just not possible in previous iterations of StarCraft. Beautiful to see.
It's an entirely different game, and I love it.
It is. I mean, I've always used the saying, I feel that Legacy of the Void is as different from Heart of the Swarm as Brood War was to Wings of Liberty. I mean, not ignoring the graphic differences and some control key advantages that StarCraft 2 has, but I think gameplay-wise, it just feels so much different in a good way. All right, guys, to the north, we have the Blue Zerg taking game number 1. It is Nurchio.
And to the south and the west of Central Protocol, we have the Red Zerg player representing Team Acer as well. It is Bly.
Bly.
Is this our first cast on Central Protocol?
Whoa, today it is.
Yeah.
Actually, totally. This is my favorite map as far as appearances are concerned. I'm still, jury's still out on whether I actually like the map or not for gameplay-wise, but it offers some unique challenges.
Well, yes, and the challenge being that you do have these backdoor rocks coming into your base, which is a concern for Protoss and Terran, a huge wide ramp you have to defend as well, which makes Terran and Protoss, again, very unhappy. I don't think Zerg cares that much, but 2/3 of the player base, not a fan of rocks you can break down to get into the main base. Kind of reminds them of previous maps they vetoed, and I feel like Central Protocol has made that same, been another problem as well for Protoss and Terran and Legacy of the Void, which is why we haven't seen it. Now that I come to think of it, that explains it quite easily.
Yeah, taking that third base, I find, is pretty difficult as a Zerg player because of those rocks. Unless you're going to take the third base to the south, south of your natural. Let's say Nurchio is the player we're in question here. Take the natural and you take the third to the south. That seems to be a logical way to do it, but depending on the matchup and what you're facing, sometimes you want to take the one to the west, but there's rocks there, and then defending that sort of push is even more difficult. Now we have Lings actually, one base, Nurchio, actually both players on one base here. Both players mean harm to each other very early, as I blather on about expansions. But actually pulling them up at the top of the ramp is Nurchio, which is actually kind of interesting, and will get him an advantage if Bly runs up this ramp blindly.
Yep, so definitely one base play, both players getting speed. It looks like Bly's will come a little bit earlier. Baneling's already on the way for Bly as well. This build about similar for his opponent, but again, Bly just a little bit earlier. Then Nurchio is 10 Lings on the way for Bly as well. Now he has speed. Reinforcements are going to be able to run across the map here, but Bly moving on up and a pot.
We got a pause.
Apparently Bly's computer is on fire, so that's bad.
Oh, man, it's Bly, you're supposed to be on fire, not your PC.
This computer jumped? Did it grow legs? This is awesome. Oh.
This is an interesting development is what this is. All right, guys, so we're just Bly asked for a pause. We're gonna see what technological difficulty he may be having. It looks like his vision jumped all over the map. That's it might have been his mouse perhaps, causing the camera to jump all over the map. It could happen if you get something on the lens. But it looks like we're gonna be Acer Bly resume the game. Might be getting back in right away. Awesome. So that was a little short delay here, and see what is in store. We have Lings heading to the main base of Nurchio. Lings and Banes, to be exact. Some Queens here and Banelings of his own for Nurchio to defend as he shoos off these Lings.
Yeah, 4 Banelings in pretty much good position here for Nurchio, trying to get optimal hits. Retreating back to the creep there, using Lings to defend against the Lings that are trying to attack the Banelings. Trying to sneak around the right side there. The Spine Crawler, however, focusing down those Banelings. Do they get a hit? Yes, single hit, but not killing any drones, bringing them very low on health, but not an insta-kill there. It does take 2 Baneling hits to actually kill them. 2 Lings come in to try to finish the job, but again, Spine Crawler's doing a great job keeping these Lings safe, and so far, nobody's lost a single drone yet.
Yeah, excellent defense by Nurchio, but Bly has dealt with it fairly well, not losing a chunk of Lings like we often see in ZVZ due to a mishandle and miscontrol. But this is a pretty much impenetrable defense right now for Nurchio with that Spine, 2 Queens at the front, nice spread on those Banelings. There's no way that Bly's gonna to crack that, and he knows it. So he's taking his natural expansion, which is a good play. Maybe perhaps keep Nurchio contained for as long as he can, and just to buy time to get that expansion up safely.
Yep, a lot of aggression up there, using Banelings, using Lings, just waddling all over the place. The Baneling count for Nurchio looking pretty good as well, up to 6 total there, a couple Queens to absorb hits on the Banelings. That's pretty much their job at this point, and try to kill things from range at the same time. Evolution Chamber on the way, and yes, +1 Carapace being researched by Acer Bly, and again, with +1 Carapace, Lings can survive a single hit from a Baneling. It leaves them very low on health, but it keeps them alive, which means they can keep attacking, and it can be enough to turn the battle in your favor. So again, if you're going to see a lot of Baneling battles, go ahead and get that +1 Carapace. It will definitely pay off for you in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, if they survive that initial Baneling hit, they live to fight another day. Harass, maybe turn into Banelings themselves. In a ZVZ where things are so even and so frenetic, every little little advantage you can get counts, and I think that's one of the most important upgrades in this matchup. So we have the natural for Bly getting saturated rather at this moment, which is worker count. Despite that, is fairly even though, because Nurchio's expansion, though delayed, is now popping up, and he did continue to build drones in the meantime.
Bly actually going for an early lair here. I mean, it's not super early. 5 minutes in the game isn't fast, but getting it before his opponent, it looks like that's going to be very, very nice. I'm not sure if he's planning on going for mutas or possibly, some Ravagers or some Lurkers would be very fun to see as well. Regardless, Baneling hits continue to splash on all over the place, and these micro battles give me nightmares, man.
Oh, man. Absolutely. Any miscontrol is the end of you. As actually, I think Bly's getting the better of the attacks there, picking off some of the roaming Banelings, but he gets a run by in the meantime, though. Will pick up a Queen, get some workers too. Some Banelings do more Finn. Oh, that's so close. Like, manages to defend that Queen with those newly formed Banelings. Still, Nurchio being really annoying with these Lings. Gets another shot of that Queen, decides to forego that. Try to pick off a worker here and there. More so just being annoying than anything. Won't get any further damage done at the time. But nice little attack from Nurchio, but he does actually enter the fray with 2 Banelings of his own. Oh, that was so close. Oh, wow. Very daring from Bly. Almost got all his Lings exploded by that one Baneling.
But did you see that? There was a Baneling hit, and the Lings survived with very little hit points because of that +1 Carapace upgrade on Bly's
there
Lings.
You go.
There it is.
And now he turns those injured ones into Banes. Nice.
Perfect. Well played indeed. +1 Carapace just about to finish for Nurchio as well, getting a lair of his own and a Spire on the way for Bly. Continuing to get Banelings in the meantime, but a huge Nurchio train running up that ramp. More Banelings morphing in as well. I think Bly is taking these hits fairly well, but all these drones are dead. The splits come on in from the right side and the left side. Drones trying to split as best they can, actually doing a pretty good job of it. The Banelings decide not to actually commit there, and instead looking for better targets. The Ling's going to clean up the drones instead. That can be the problem with splitting your drones, as Lings have an easier time with them. Defensive Lings rolling on in. for Bly, and I just think Nurchio is in a really, really good spot here. Losing this queen would be massive. Oh, a transfuse, keeping it alive temporarily, but no, there's nothing here to save it. The queen is definitely going to go down. Just barely, though. And the second queen as well gets a full surround of drones, forced to defend for Bly, but Mutas are on the way for Bly. If he can stay alive long enough for his Mutas to make a difference here, he could pull this out.
A nice worm on the way for Nurchio. Nice little counter just to get his units across the map faster as he takes the third base. Ling pressure still on for Nurchio as he has a healthy number of Lings, morphing in more Banelings right on the ramp of Bly. Bly does have one defensive Baneling here and a handful of Lings, but that is a lot of blue Nurchio Lings heading right in. Trying to pick off a worker here and there. One Muta does pop out, a second one on the way. But is it enough? I'm not entirely sure. I'm not convinced here. This is a lot of Lings. And Nurchio has a healthy economy behind this. Third base coming up, and a Nidus Worm.
Yep, Nidus Worm just completed inside his own base. We'll see if he decides to launch it at all. I'm not sure that he needs to at this point. These Lings are so annoying. Trying to kill yet another queen. Good positioning by the queen, though, keeping it alive. Lings running around, taking damage from the Glaive Worms on the Mutas, and there comes the Nidus popping up inside the natural base. Drones are evacuating, trying to save things in this single base here, but no. Nurchio has 3 hatcheries up and running, and it does not look good at all for Ace or Bly.
Yeah, over double the supply for Nurchio right now. And queens pop out, easy enough to deal with those. Mutalisks, excellent choice by Nurchio to fend off this build from Bly. Applying the aggression, more Lings flood and Baneling morphing right at the doorstep of this natural base. Natural will fall. Queens punching that extractor in the face as they move their way across this choke point towards the main base of Bly, who is in an absolutely desperate position.
Yeah, and that's your GG. I mean, this is enough queens to deal with those Mutas for sure. Lings and Banelings also coming along for the ride for Nurchio. Baneling hits, unless they are godlike for Bly, this is definitely over. And killing a few of the Lings, but that's about it. Lings rolling on in, nothing much opposing them at all except for these Mutas, which are no match for this number of queens. And there's the GG from Bly. Bly's defeated. Nurchio takes a 2-0 lead.
Well, commanding lead by Ace or Bly's teammate Nurchio in this best of 5, guys. So it is match point now. Nurchio can take this home all the way to the finals, and he's one of the top picks I've had throughout this event. I see it. I mean, Bly too has been showing such amazing play, but something about Nurchio's understanding of the matchups, especially against Terran, is just so. It's so powerful, and if you could see that sort of play in that matchup, you know his other matchups are almost as solid, if not just. And we're seeing that right here as ZVZ is aces when all is on the line, when things matter most. This is when Nurchio pulls through, and he's showing that in the early days of Legacy of the Void. Cannot wait to see what the future holds for this guy. And
isn't this a best of 5?
It is best of 5, yeah.
I'm not sure Bly knows that.
Does Bly know it's a best of 5, Edmonds? Let's check it out. But either way, yes, it is best of 5, guys. So thanks for tuning in so far, guys. We have a lot of StarCraft, game after game after game. We're heading to the next game very shortly as we are entering the lobby now in the Gauntlet StarCraft Legacy of the Void Series Global Finals. I'm Bobby Awesome. With me is Falcon Paladin. Shout out to the event sponsors C-Tone and Gauntlet Crew. Follow them on Twitter at Gauntlet SC2. Show them some love. Also hit up that follow button right here on Twitch TV. Falcon Paladin, you got a YouTube channel I hear about. I want to give you a big shout out for that. Amazing channel. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so I've just been doing 2 daily Legacy of the Void casts every single day for several months now, dating back to the beta. I've got players like TLO that are there, Bomber there as well, a bunch of Puck, and as well as some other lesser-known GM players you might enjoy watching. But yeah, it's just Falcon Paladin, or youtube.com/Falcon Paladin. And again, 2 every single day of the week, including Saturdays and Sundays, because I love you guys.
Yeah, it's absolutely astounding, the content that you put out and the quality content you put out daily. It's insane. So anybody wants to see StarCraft consistently casted extraordinarily well by our good pal Falcon Paladin, please do head over to his YouTube channel and follow him on Twitter. It's a huge deal, and good work, sir. Good work.
Thank you.
For Bly versus Nurchio, guys. So Bly's life is on the line. Remember, he does not leave this event empty-handed. as he has guaranteed 75 American dollars in his pocket. All right, guys, to the south we have the blue Zerg up 2-0. It is Nurchio.
And to the north, we have his teammate, the red Zerg player, who again needs to win to continue playing in this tournament. It is Bly.
All right. Well, we've seen from both of these players heavy aggression one-base builds, which I think is exactly what we're going to be seeing out of Bly right now, as he's getting that super fast gas, has the spawning pool well on its way, but we have a hatch first going down for Nurchio. So this is pretty dicey, although I'm a big fan of the hatch first opening in every single matchup possible. Possibly even 2 hatch before pool, but this will be interesting. He takes the gas. That's super greedy from Nurchio against this hyper aggressive one base build by Bly. Oh man, if Nurchio can hold this off, I am going to and think of it this way. He took the much vaunted forward expansion, which I love to do, but he did so in the most greedy fashion. That alone is greedy, taking that front the natural third, one could call it, instead as his natural. Which is a wider open ramp, harder to defend, and against a hyper-aggressive one-base build that Bly is brewing up as we speak. This is not looking good for Nurchio.
No, it's really not. But again, the rush distance here is pretty far. The Ling's also taking the long way around to avoid getting scouted by Nurchio's overlords. I don't know. It's kind of a trade-off there. I'm not sure how this will work out, but Nurchio, his own spawning pool is finished, which is a huge help to him.
He gets a queen actually right now too. Baneless just going down for Nurchio, so he's gearing up to defend his natural in the best way he can. But he is just now, by the looks of it, going to spot the Lings of Bly as they mosey on their way to look to do some damage on Nurchio's side of the map. Now again, Bly has to do damage with this. And there is also no secret. He's still trying to hide these Lings, but these Lings have been already spotted. They're no surprise to Nurchio, but nonetheless, Bly is down in workers by about 5 drones. At this stage of the game, that is a big deal. And also, he's still on 1 hatch versus the 2 hatches with 2 queens for Nurchio. So Nurchio's production is going to be multiple times higher. So we'll see if Nurchio can hold this and Bly can try to make something happen.
The queens are holding the ramp. It does take quite a bit of few banelings to get up there and take care of the queens doing that. I realize that Bly knows that. He's not choosing to attack up, instead threatening the natural base. That should even things up. Banelings of Nurchio's own rolling on down, trying to save this hatchery, scattering all the Lings. Baneling hits there. More and more Baneling hits, and it looks like Nurchio has a better end of things. At least he has more Banelings remaining after all of that violence, crushing a whole another group of Zerglings, and Bly in a lot of trouble now.
Perfect defense by Nurchio, taking the you can see just the superior control that he has over his teammate Bly, managing to get the more cost-effective Baneling hits every single time. You know, it may only be a Ling or 2 more here and there, but that matters in this situation. And he is in a perfect position. No natural going down for Bly, behind by 6 drones. He has an excellent defense with 2 queens, a spine crawler, starting to saturate his natural, and we have drones moving across the map because that is what one does when they're all in.
That's where Bly is right now. Has to use drones to attack with the spine crawler. A couple Baneling hits though. Again, good splits by Nurchio. Reaction time pretty good, only losing a couple drones to 2 Banelings. That's probably a fair trade. More Baneling hits though, sending Bly deeper and deeper into this hole.
I'm not even sure if this is on purpose. No, I think it was an accident. Yeah, these workers now go back home, go back drones. That is only even worse for Bly. That does not make the situation any better. Nurchio is in a commanding lead. I don't like calling games early, but I don't see Nurchio losing this game unless he goes AFK for about 10 minutes. So, but either way, it'll be interesting to see how Bly tries to claw his way back. So, nonetheless, it'll be an interesting watch. Nonetheless, in this game, this is decider game too. Bly tried his best to try to claw his way back in this series by trying a risky, aggressive build, and that's the thing. It was a one-base play, which I'm not a fan of in Legacy Void. I've mentioned various times, and it proves it right here. Nurchio did the worst possible opening, pretty much, to deal with that sort of aggression, and he still defended it handily.
He really did. And again, having that many Lings come into your base is kind of a panic situation, but Nurchio kept his cool, kept his head, was able to micro his units well, only lost a couple drones to all of that harassment. 2 total drones lost, 2 banelings, and 9 lings is all that Nurchio's lost this entire game thus far. And now Nurchio has become the aggressor. The banelings rolling on in, trying to get themselves a big group of lings, not quite able to do it. Lings all over the place, running around, just getting a scout off. 4 lings crashing onto one of those banelings, more banelings crashing on up, lings at the same time, just getting on in. Nurchio, nothing really left on this mineral line, and the drones are forced to fight for themselves. Getting a full surround on the lings are these drones, though. That helps them quite a bit, but still 4 drones have died. Another baneling from Nurchio, looking very, very sneaky, trying to waddle on in. Does get sniped down by the queens. And looks like the aggression for Nurchio is going to end for now.
Yeah, Bly is droning up like a madman, as only a madman can. But Nurchio is taking his 3rd base behind this as well. All the while, Bly is just now saturating his natural. So the lead is still heavily in Nurchio's favor.
It really is. 46 harvesters to 32 for Bly, 53 to 44 total supply overall. Roach Warren on the way for Bly, or for Nurchio, rather, but Bly's Roach is already on the way here. I'm not sure if he can afford to be aggressive or if he's just setting up for defensive purposes, as the 3rd hatchery is already up for Nurchio, and +1 missile attack is on the way.
Yeah, right now also I think Bly might be trying for a 2-base follow-up all in, possibly with roaches by the looks of it, although these roaches are just being used in a defensive purpose right now. I'm not sure what other options he has. Oh no, he's building a Ravager, so likely be some sort of Roach Ravager composition for Bly, maybe apply some pressure on Nurchio's side of the map. He needs to do this right now as Nurchio's economy is kicking in, as his army supply has surpassed Bly and more than double that, almost more than double that, I should say, of Bly. So again, the whatever army that Bly can build, Nurchio can match it and then some.
And that's the problem with these mirror matches. If you're going for the same composition and your opponent simply has more than you do, there's really not much you can do other than some really good positioning and kind of praying to the RNG gods that things will work out for you. Other than that, it's a really difficult position to find yourself in. Bly is getting a lair. Corrosive Vial being thrown down, trying to kill some of Nurchio's Overlord. Does manage to kill one with his little Ravager hit squad here. And temporarily, supply blocks Nurchio. Another Overlord possibly could take a hit, but big Ravager Roach composition coming in as well for Nurchio, pushing out across the map. Glial Reconstitution on the way for the Blue Zerg player. And just trading hits. Corrosive Vials forcing a bit of a misdirection there. And the Ravager's just walking through that one instead. But look at all these roaches coming across the map. They almost have speed ready to go. Almost have +2 working on. +1 has completed for the missile attack at the same time. This 3rd base is under assault. I'm not sure Bly can even try to save it. The cancel's going to come up here momentarily, and that's it. Canceling. Officially 2-base, 2-3 base in favor of Nurchio, walking up the ramp. And what does Bly have left?
Yeah, Nurchio gives no care. He walks up the ramp, despite the Corrosive Vial hitting his units, but he has so many roaches, lings following up with these Ravagers, as Bly's army is starting to just get absolutely overwhelmed despite the defender's advantage. The numbers are overwhelmingly in favor of the Blue Zerg Nurchio, as it looks to take this game as well as the series in this Gauntlet StarCraft Legacy of the Void series semi-finals. Yeah, this is devastation. All the workers going down, lings happening. Yeah, this is pretty much ownage right now. I think Bly is just, I don't know, practicing his APM right now, I think, at this exact moment. Because there's nothing he has. There we go. GG! Nurchio takes the game and the series 3-0 and finds his way into the finals of the Gauntlet Legacy of the Void series global finals. Well played.
Absolutely well played for sure. Nurchio is just on another level right now. He's absolutely ripping his way through this tournament. Has he lost a game yet? I'm trying to pull up the bracket here.
Has he? Oh yeah, Senin beat him one game.
That's right. Senin did take a single one off of him.
Yeah. Yeah, good old Senin. Good guy Senin.
Senin also Polish though. Somebody in Twistcat said,
oh yes, he is,
that Poland has not dropped a map to the rest of the world in this tournament yet. Which is technically true.
That is true.
Poland wrecking it right now.
Good fact checker there in Twistcat. Well, excellent. All right, guys, we'll be heading to the next series right away as we have Beyond versus Mana, best of 5 in the semifinals of the Gauntlet StarCraft